According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, John Finnegan might have 3 stories to occupy him while Steffy Forrester is away. Let's discuss Finn's future as these intriguing stories might take the stage. 1. Learning everything there is to know about Liam's tumor recovery. To begin with, Finn is focused on the Grace Buckingham problem, since he senses that something is amiss. Finn is relieved that Liam Spencer will get better, but he finds Grace's behavior and the covert manner in which she handled everything puzzling. Now that Steffy has made the decision to temporarily leave town with the children, Finn might keep himself occupied with his investigation. Since it appears like this plot is going in that direction, Grace's tumor hoax and phony procedure need to be revealed. 2. Developing a relationship with Sheila as a mother-son. When Finn arrived at Il Giardino to express gratitude to Sheila for standing up for Steffy, he had already taken a step toward developing a relationship with her. Things on B&B are beginning to change a little, as Steffy naturally also thanks Sheila. Although Steffy acknowledges that Sheila has changed her life in some way, she is not yet ready to forgive all of Sheila's transgressions. Steffy might be able to put up with it if Finn and Sheila connect a little while she's not on canvas. 3. Determining that Luna is alive and under Lee's supervision. We must, of course, also discuss Luna Nozawa because Finn's feelings regarding her passing are obviously complex. When Finn finally discovers Luna isn't truly dead, things will become even more difficult for him. All evidence suggests that Lee Finnegan staged Luna's death and hidden her away for the remainder of her recuperation. Finn will eventually figure all of that out, so while Steffy is gone, he might have a fantastic story to tell. While Jacqueline McInnes Wood is on maternity leave and Steffy is gone, Finn will have enough to do, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Stay back for more on all the major news that awaits the Good Doctor. According to previews on The Bold and the Beautiful, Bill Spencer and Katie Logan should get back together for at least 4 reasons. Could this well-known pair have a passionate new beginning? 1. Bill and Katie have always gotten along well. Many fans of B&B believe that Bill and Katie have a good on-screen chemistry. However, not everyone will agree. It makes sense for Katie and Bill to rekindle their romance because they have consistently passed the chemistry test. 2. It's been too long since Bill and Katie were single. Not to be overlooked is the fact that both Bill and Katie are unmarried. Bill and Katie could need a passionate relationship once more, because things have been that way for much too long. Given that both characters require romantic partners, this could be the ideal moment to bring the couple back together and offer Katie and Bill a fresh start. 3. Katie can prevent Bill from losing his mind. It's clear that Grace Buckingham defrauded Bill of $1 million by fabricating Liam Spencer's tumor and operation. If Bill doesn't have someone like Katie to control him, he might lose his mind and take his retaliation too far. When Bill realizes he was duped, Katie might be the one to step up and provide the assistance he needs. Katie can remind Bill that his heart was in the right place when he sought to perform a miracle for Liam and believed Grace. The fact that Liam is not dying is what matters most. Therefore, Katie could assist Bill stop losing his mind and making retaliatory blunders. Although Grace must pay, Katie might pressure Bill to let the police handle it, so he can keep his hands clean. Katie might be open to giving Bill another try at a fresh relationship, if he can demonstrate some character development. 4. Following Brooke's reconnection with Ridge, Bill will resist temptation. Katie had previously battled doubts about Bill's emotions for Brooke Logan. Katie has been reluctant to commit to Bill again, because she doesn't want to be her sister's second-best suit. But it's been a while since Bill showed any interest in Brooke. Although Brooke is now being pursued by Nick Marone, she is prepared to meet Rich Forrester again in Italy when fate brings them together. Bill won't be enticed by Brooke, because she won't be available for the foreseeable future. This is the perfect time for a romantic Bill and Katie reboot, since Katie won't have to worry about Bill and Brooke reconciling. Stay tuned for further details on Bill and Katie's possible reunion, as spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that they may be getting some romantic updates soon. The living area was bathed in golden warmth as the Cliff House's tall windows let in the early morning light. Finn listened to the waves crashing below as he stood in the quiet, his coffee cooling in his palm. Steffy's absence reverberated across the atmosphere. Although the vacation was meant to help everyone refocus, the silence had started to bother him. She had taken the children to Europe to spend a few weeks with Taylor. The house seemed too large, too silent. He missed Steffi's laughter, the commotion of the kids, and even the quiet arguments about laundry or what show to watch on TV at night. Finn, however, wasn't one to mope. He ran on the beach, surfed, and worked. But behind the surface, something else boiled. The tranquility of Los Angeles life was short-lived. Sheila was the first. It did, of course. Her silence had been suspicious. She had promised to avoid Steffi after their last altercation, stating that she desired serenity and a genuine opportunity to get to know her kid. She was not trusted by Finn. Not at all. He always believed she meant it, though. That a lady who is not a villain might exist someplace, hidden beneath the derangement and manipulation. His instincts therefore took over when he received the call informing him that Sheila had been brought to the hospital, following her collapse in a public park. He drove carelessly to the emergency room in spite of all the warning signs. By the time he got there, she was awake, little and pallid against the white pillows. When she inquired as to whether he had come to see her, her voice faltered. "I am your son," he declared bluntly. "I must know if you're ill." Too easily, too fast, tears welled up in her eyes. "John, I didn't pretend. I promise you." Something wasn't right, but the tests weren't conclusive at first. Finn's blood work showed it. Abnormalities that were not appropriate. A second, then a third viewpoint. This time, it was more than simply manipulation. Sheila was ill. Maybe really. And he couldn't ignore that as a doctor. As a son, though? It was more ambiguous. Was she deserving of his attention? His kindness? Other than clinical detachment, was there anything he owed her? Once more, Finn was at odds with himself. He was unable to inform Steffi. Not quite yet. Not with her at such a distance. If she found out that he was spending time by Sheila's bed, she would feel deceived. It wasn't about forgiveness, though. It has to do with accountability. And perhaps a bit of curiosity. In a perverse manner. Is this the weakness in Sheila's defense? The instant she at last displayed unplanned vulnerability? As that conflict battled within his emotions, Hope Logan appeared out of nowhere. Now that Finn was working with a medical charity that received some funding from Forrester Creations, their paths had crossed more often. When among the children, Hope was courteous, kind, and even maternal. However, she had been aloof recently. Not the same. They were caught up in a talk that went too deep too quickly one evening after a fundraiser event and stayed in the parking lot. Hope was falling apart. In a quiet, aching way, rather than the dramatic way Brooke occasionally did. As she talked about Liam and how things had changed since Steffi left town, her voice broke. She muttered angrily, "He claims to be alone, but that's a lie. He desires her once more." Perhaps he did all the time. Finn was at a loss for words. He had observed Liam's constant flirtation with inappropriateness as he followed Steffi. With Steffi no longer present, Liam had begun circling her once more, texting her to ask for help with the kids and reminiscing as if the door had never really closed. Hope's eyes were glassy as she gazed up at Finn. "I have no idea why I am telling you this. Perhaps because you're the only honest man I've ever met." Between them, the moment weighed heavily. Finn swallowed forcefully, experiencing the ache and the pull of closeness. The distinction between comfort and temptation became hazy, even if he didn't approach her or touch her. Finn couldn't quit thinking about her even after they parted without saying anything more. And the hospital was rocked by controversy the very next week, as if life weren't already complicated enough. During a routine operation, one of his patients, a wealthy IT investor, had abruptly passed away. The family demanded answers, but the autopsy revealed a problem no one had expected. Attorneys became involved. All of a sudden, internal investigations and insurance reports were dragging Finn's name along. It wasn't his fault. He was aware of that. However, the medical documents had been altered by someone. A warning signal was removed from the patient's record. It developed into an extensive internal investigation. Melina, one of the nurses, made a suggestion that there was something fishy going on. Someone was attempting to hide their identity. Finn could feel the pressure building. His profession had been founded on morality and empathy. Because of someone else's error, or sabotage, he was now witnessing it teeter on the brink. He didn't want to think it was personal, but then he found a note that said, "You should have stayed away from her." In his locker. She? Steffi? Hope? Sheila? The paranoia began to creep in. He began to doubt everyone. His coworkers, his employees, even Deacon, who had reportedly been hanging around the hospital lately to see how Sheila was doing. Deacon pretended to be stupid when Finn confronted him, but his eyes did not smile. You believe that I can ruin your career? Deacon laughed. Doctor, I'm not that smart. However, the danger was genuine. Finn was unable to get rid of it. Someone had a plan, and it had something to do with the ladies in his life. He looked through shift logs, saw surveillance footage, and even asked an old IT friend for assistance. It became worse the further he delved. Melina abruptly stopped showing up for work. The hospital board became unfriendly with him. Despite her condition, Sheila appeared more lucid than ever, giving cryptic advice concerning enemies that were right in front of her. The people you see the least clearly are sometimes the ones closest to you, she said. Finn wasn't sure if that was sanity or insanity. However, he began to view everyone in a new way. Then the tipping point arrived. One night, Hope arrived to his residence. Red-rimmed eyes, wet from the rain. She declared her permanent separation from Liam, claimed to be fed up with pursuing a person who was unable to pick her. Finn made an effort to be the friend. Reason's voice. Hope, however, shivered and drew in close. She muttered, I just want something real. With a person I trust. She then gave him a kiss. It was supple, sad, but authentic. With his heart racing, he withdrew. I'm hoping I can't. I can't, you know. Embarrassed, she nodded. I apologize. I simply, no one else is there. He still kept it a secret from Steffi. He kept the kiss a secret from her. Regarding the inquiry, regarding Sheila's condition, he was caught in a web of secrets, most of which were not even his own, but they were all holding him closer. He had trouble falling asleep. It was a minefield at work. He was no longer at peace with the water. Finn finally confronted the chief of staff after the hospital investigation had not advanced for a week. At that point, he received the last blow. A manipulated file with his digital signature was provided by an unnamed source. It had been forged. They desired his departure. He had his phone with him that night as he stood on the balcony and gazed out to sea. He nearly gave Steffi a call. However, she merited her tranquility. He also didn't want her to return home to an unruly house. Not quite yet. He needed to make it right. He needed to safeguard what they had constructed, because secrets never remained hidden for long in Los Angeles, and Finn was aware that if he didn't take action before Steffi arrived, everything would fall apart. Time was running out, and someone was wagering that he wouldn't succeed someplace, in the shadows.